Hi, this is Sean Fensky, Editor-in-Chief of Medical Product Outsourcing. I'm here once again with Alan Grau, VP of IoT Embedded Solutions at Sectigo. How you doing today, Alan?
I'm doing great. Thanks, John.
So we've been talking about cybersecurity. We've been talking about digital devices, digital healthcare. Um, why don't you explain to us what could happen if a home healthcare or a mobile healthcare device is hacked? What's the next step? What happens?
Well, a lot of bad things could happen. I mean, at a first level, the device could be simply rendered unusable. So you've got a device that you're using in your home for whatever purpose, and all of a sudden it's not functioning right or not serving the purpose that it needs. So that's really kind of the first thing that could happen. And there's also risk of personal information being stolen. Typically the device may not have a lot of personal information on it, but it may have some. But it could also be used as a bridge or an entry point for a broader attack. Hackers will often find a weak point in the security of a network, and then use that once they've infected that machine to as a launching point for further attacks in the network. And once it's got that foothold in the network, they're able to do much broader attacks. So they may be able to leverage that device to attack servers on the network, and resulting in larger data breaches or theft of more personal information. And I've read that a person's medical records or their health insurance records are worth something like 20 to 50 times as much as a credit card on the dark web.
Wow.
Just in terms of the fraud that can be done if you've got a person's medical records and in terms of medical billing fraud and things like that. So so hackers really are targeting these types of devices. And the other possibility is wide-scale ransomware attacks. I mean, we've seen successful ransomware attacks on hospitals, and as a result, hospitals having to cancel or reschedule operations, admit emergency room patients to other facilities. There's all sorts of inability to operate, which really does start to affect people. And and that's really more against just their standard IT systems. If you look at being able to have a ransomware attack against a medical device that's actually controlling dispensing medicine or something else that it directly impacts patient health, the ability to extract a ransom would be much higher. Right now, all of a sudden, the leverage that the cyber criminals have isn't just, hey, we can slow down your operations or steal your data, but we can actually hurt people or kill people. And so, their leverage would be much greater for extracting a ransom.
Are there certain types of mobile healthcare devices or home healthcare devices that are being targeted more, or are there certain ones that hackers are more looking after or that are more vulnerable?
Yeah, I think that in many cases older devices are more vulnerable. Medical devices have a long shelf life. Once they're built, many devices are used in the field for a long time. And we've seen some recent attacks or recent reports of vulnerabilities rather against some of the common TCP/IP stacks used within medical devices and other IoT devices. There was a set of one that was called Ripple 20 that impacted potentially the TCP/IP stack was in probably hundreds of millions of different devices. There's another one called, I think it was called Amnesia 33. I think it was a set of 33 vulnerabilities that affected 4 different open source TCP/IP stacks that are commonly used in IoT devices. And many of these systems, once they're built with these solutions, hard coded in, they aren't as easy to upgrade as common PC or desktop systems or even more modern IoT devices. So those vulnerabilities will often live in the field for a long time. So as a general rule, older devices often have more vulnerabilities. That said, hackers are, any target that they find that they can exploit, they will do so.
And in the past, in a previous video, I know we spoke about things manufacturers can do to help enhance the cybersecurity and the safety of their devices. Is there anything patients can do?
Certainly not as much as a manufacturer can do. If you think about a medical device like a car, it's up to the manufacturers to build in airbags, to build in seat belts and other safety controls. So that's really where the bulk of the burden lies. But if the device has a password that you can edit, make sure it has a strong password. Any security controls that the user can utilize, make sure they're enabled. Don't reuse passwords. Just the common sense, safety precautions or security precautions that should be taken with any system need to be used.
Right. Well, great. Well, if you'd like to get more information about development or manufacture of medical devices, I encourage you to please visit mpomag.com, which is the medical product outsourcing website. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank Alan Grau, VP of IoT Embedded Solutions at Sectigo, for joining us once again, giving us his insights on cybersecurity for home healthcare and mobile medical devices. Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, John.